My name's Avid, and I have two massive problems. Problem number one is I can't stop making boss fights. And problem number two is with these dumb, stinking towers. Don't believe me? Just ask some of my friends.
These towers ruined my life. Avid, why?
Honestly, Avid, you should just delete your adventure map.
Avid, fix your towers!
Fine, I get it, okay. But if we're fixing these dang things, then we're gonna fix them my way with 4 new boss fights. This is Avid Adventures. Ladies and gentlemen, we are adding an endgame to Minecraft, all on an active multiplayer server that channel members and patrons can now play on. So what's the deal with these broken towers? Well, it all starts with the 7 quests on our adventure server. More specifically, the original 4 that can be found on the bottom floor of our quest hub. These 4 quests are meant to be done in the early game. Then you play traditional Minecraft survival, gear up, beat the Ender Dragon, and only then are you ready for the quests in the second level of the tower. So where do the towers come into play? Beating these towers gives players a tower fragment, which grants them access to the later quests. So naturally, I made them really difficult. Withered, I'm having so much fun, so I think it's safe to say the towers gotta go. And instead, we are going to replace them with 4 new bosses. I told you guys I have a problem. And once players beat these 4 bosses, they can ascend to higher levels of the tower and take on the tier 2 quests. So in today's episode, we are going to add a brand new boss themed around Copper Point. The lore of Copper Point is rather interesting. Nobody really knew why copper started raining down from the sky, but they could have found out if they just read the lore books. You're gonna read the lore books, right? Because if you do, you'll find a lore book in the Shattered Path that references something called the Copper Demon. As important as this demon guy is, he's only mentioned as a footnote in a totally different quest. So if you're picking up what I'm putting down, the boss fight we're working on today is the Copper Demon. What I'm thinking is a massive copper meteor fell from the sky and created an enormous magma lake. But how the heck am I gonna do that? This is probably a good start. So yeah, the next thing we need to do is to create the devastation with command blocks, of course. So I've got our meteor up in the sky and now it's spinning wildly out of control. And when I flick this lever, it should start to fall down to the earth. Oh yeah, that is looking so good. And when this thing touches the ground for the first time, I want it to create a mega crater. But I just don't think a whole bunch of TNT is gonna cut it. We have to be smart about it. Nah, that's boring. Let's be stupid. Guys, I did out the math for this thing, and this is 3 million TNT. This is such a bad idea. All we should have to do is turn it on and wait for the collision. Avid, just stop it. What? Who said that? Okay, look, don't make this weird. I'm you from the future, and I'm here to stop you. Wow, I look amazing. I mean, the hat probably doesn't have to happen, but otherwise— Would you just shut your mouth? Avid, do you know what happens when you blow up that asteroid? Yes. Gosh, this guy doesn't know how to pace a video to save his life. Excuse me? Look, I don't know how to tell you this, but the only way to save this video at this point is to make 2 boss fights. 2 boss fights in one episode. That's not even possible. Oh, Avid, you clot. Where is he getting these insults? I made 1,000 bosses in my last episode. 1,000? Yes, 1,000. That's how you get views now. Anyways, I gotta get back to my 10 million subscribers. Later, nerd. Did he just call me a nerd? Well, that certainly wasn't weird at all. I guess we're blowing this up later in the episode. Don't worry, you guys. We'll be back to Copper Point in no time. But for now, we need to travel across the Bay of the Shrouded Isles to one of my favorite areas, Crescent Bay. And oh my gosh, do I have something awesome planned. For those who know the lore, the boss of Crescent Bay is also known as Bumblebee. Yes, I get it. She's a gas. This is what I have to work with, okay? And the short version of the story goes something like this. A crew led by the famous pirate Captain Yar traveled out to the frozen sea to capture a beast known as Bumblebee. I mean, Bumblebee ate Yar's dad, so he was kind of justified. And here in the frozen sea is where we are going to be making our second boss fight today. Or is it our first boss fight today. And the boss will live inside of Bumblebee's abandoned hive. And guys, this thing is going to be massive. But you know me, there is not a chance I'm placing a single block by hand. So the question is, how do you make a giant beehive with commands? If you think about a beehive, it's basically just a bunch of concentric circles stacked on top of each other. I happen to have a command ready to go to draw these shapes, also known as toroids, in any size and dimension. So you better bet your butts we're gonna use this to make our beehive. And, wow. Yeah, it's not as complicated as it looks. Okay, I take that back. It's ridiculously complicated. But guys, that's just what it takes to paint concentric toroids with texturing. A sentence I genuinely never thought I would say. And the technology is pretty similar. You have a singular central armor stand that spins in a circle, and then along the exterior, you have an arc of outer armor stands, and all of this madness is to ensure that we have this really cool gradient, as well as we have an armor stand randomizer. And look, I think that's enough explaining for now. How about we turn this thing on? In 3, 2, 1, go! My gosh, this is... Look, I know we made a mega city in the clouds last episode, but this is one of the coolest mega structures I've ever made. And I can't believe we made this entire structure using only command blocks. And so I guess now it's time to put a boss in this thing. So while the floor 3D prints itself, we should head on down to the command block room just below and start talking about the mechanics. I want this boss to be a highly mobile aerial boss, which means the elements of the boss fight are going to be flying based, as well as there are going to be aerial gates that players need to glide through. So the first thing we're going to start on are the flight rings. I mean, it feels like I'm cheating with these cherry leaves. They are just so stinking pretty. And I also made an angled version of it. And what is a small video transition for you guys is a couple hours of work from me. But check this out. So I've actually updated the floor with a bunch of greenery to contrast nicely with the rest of the hive. But also we now have rings scattered all around the hive, and I think they look so good. And if you notice, there are items actually inside of these rings. What happens is when players fly through them, they get that item as a reward. And the goal is for players to make clever use of the rocket pickups in order to get to the very top ring where they can grab this special arrow. You see, the honey-tipped arrow is the only way to damage the boss. And I can already picture it now, this hive filled with angry bees and gas while players are frantically trying to figure out which rings they can fly to in order to get to the top. And speaking of angry bees, I've tweaked the bee AI so that now they are angry at the nearest player, as well as if players get far enough away, they're gonna chase after them. On top of that, whenever players fly through a gate, an angry bee is going to spawn and follow after them, so things are gonna get pretty dangerous pretty fast. The good news is these bees don't have a ton of health, so with a couple of well-placed shots, players should be able to take them out pretty easily. And guys, just a reminder, please be nice to bees in real life. They are super important to the environment. That being said, what do you say we take a look at the boss, Son of Bumblebee? I mean, look at this cute little guy. He's got flappy trapdoor wings. It's like if a ghast were to dress up for Halloween. And you want to know my favorite part? Look at his cute little butt. He's got a tiny end rod as a stinger. It's adorable. Now, this boss has a couple of tricks. First off, arrows can't damage it, and its fireballs destroy normal arrows. So that means players are going to have to fly all the way up to the top ring to get the honey-tipped arrow, because not only can these honey arrows deflect the fireballs, but also they're the only way to damage the boss. Oh, I probably have to make sure his costume disappears. And oh, my friends, defeating Son of Bumblebee is not the end. Now, you've angered the hive. Now, there are a couple of final touches that I added. The first is I added an entrance hole. There's got to be a way to get in. I copied over a boat from Crescent Bay, which drops players off right in front of the hive. And just look at this approach as you start to see the hive peeking up over the trees. Oh man, players are gonna be so excited to beat this. On the off chance players run out of rockets, or at the beginning of the boss when they have no rockets, I've added this geyser, which when it goes off, it'll launch players into the air and give them that initial elytra boost. Last but not least, I present to you the pollen bombs. These little bee buddies carry a beehive on their back, and when they make contact with the player, they explode. And so with that, this boss is 100% ready to play. I'm so excited to show you guys. So all you have to do to start the boss is come up to the center here, click on the egg, and it starts to rise from the geyser up into the air until eventually the Son of Bumblebee is dead. Bro, chill out, dude. Oh, please don't be a future me. Please don't be a future me. Hey, bro, I'm you. You're me. From the future, with glasses now. Absolutely right, dude. Yeah, I'm actually from that other guy's future. You remember the one with without the glasses? Mm-hmm. How could I forget? Yeah, so I was talking with that cool dude, and we both agreed you're not playing the boss right now. Oh, good. So multiple versions of my future self are gonna tell me how to run my own video. Yep, pretty much. What's going on, Avid Bros? Make sure to like and subscribe. Are you out of your mind, dude? This is my video. Get out of here. Bro, all right, I get it. We're just trying to help you. So be on the lookout for one more future Avid this episode. I hate future Avids, but I guess we should listen to him, so I guess we're heading back to Copper Point. At least we get to blow some stuff up. So, where were we? 3, 2, 1, and as the copper meteor hurled from the heavens at incredible speed towards our TNT hemisphere, I could only stare in awe at the impending devastation. Boom! Pew, pew, burn, fire. That's how I genuinely thought it was going to happen, but in reality, it ended up being a bit more like this. Oh. So it's possible Future Avid was trying to warn me about this, or, you know, he's just a jerk idiot. Either way, I think I can still remove a whole bunch of TNT and still get a giant hole. So I'm gonna let this thing run for a few minutes, and then I'll be right back. A few minutes later. Look, buddy, you have wandered to the worst possible place right now. And as worried as I am that this is going to crash the server, all I can do is hope, so here goes nothing, please. I'll be honest, I was fully expecting this to crash the server, but it actually turned out perfectly. Look at this crater, yes! Now this is a crater. And for those wondering about the poor wandering trader, it's nothing against you. It's just wrong place, wrong time. I'm sure he survived. Either way, now that we have our crater, it's time to fill it in. We did all of this together on a live stream, and this is probably one of the most satisfying time lapses just because of how the lava fills up the crater. After that, I started to texture out the sides with some armor stand randomizer techniques, and guys, this is looking so menacing. And flash forward to a day later and a bunch of work off camera, and now our boss arena is finally done. The streaks of magma down the side, the scorched trees around the perimeter, the transition of grass to dead coral to black stone to lava. All of this comes together to make our boss arena. So let's talk about the boss. Viewers, I'm excited for you to meet Cooper. Don't let his derpy appearance fool you. Cooper is a demon of incredible power. Isn't that right, Cooper?
Hello, my name's Cooper. I want to bring about the second age of darkness for humanity.
I love him. He's the best guy, isn't he, you guys? So the way this boss fight is going to work is players will head down this diagonal bridge, which Zeplington is going to help me out with, and there will be floating platforms that players need to jump between in order to get to the central platform. Once they get here, they'll meet our good friend Cooper. who will then teleport to one of the 4 pillars around this arena. Trying to stay in the spirit of the original Copper Point quest, players are going to have to navigate a challenging parkour puzzle in order to get to Cooper, who's going to be throwing all sorts of hazards at the player. So with parkour, perils, and puzzles in the plan, let's start on the boss. The first thing we're gonna start on is the pillars. So I've marked off 4 locations around the arena. Here, 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 and here. I'm gonna build up the pillars super quick and I'll be right back. And just like that, the towers are done. I built them at different heights to give a little bit of variety. It was really tricky to find the right color combination to contrast nicely with the environment, but I think they turned out beautifully. So now we need to map out the parkour courses that gets players to the top of them. The first thing I did was lay out the basic shape for these parkour routes, and you'll notice there are islands of different colors. I'll get into what that means in a second. But then I started to texture out the islands, and guys, I'm in love with this arena, but there's something totally wrong. This magma is awful. It's just so noisy and distracting, and I can't stand it, and that is looking light years better. But I also have one more idea. What if I converted the entire biome into a basalt delta? Now, of course, I'm gonna have to deal with a couple of uninvited guests, but I'll just teleport those nerds out of the world. So with that much needed visual tweak, now let's talk about the platforms. Of course, you have your basic platforms, platforms that rise up, and platforms that launch players into the air. And if you're curious about how these guys work, it's pretty simple actually. There are hidden markers where each of the platforms can go. And then on a scoreboard timer, I'll summon a display entity beneath the lava that rises up until it hits its marker. And when the display entity is close enough to the marker, I actually create barrier blocks so players can actually stand on it. And then after a certain amount of time, I tag the display entity as falling, which I then target with this command to lower it down back into the lava. And I just love the subtle and new mechanics of these platforms. They're going to make the parkour that much more interesting. So with all the parkour elements done, it's now time to start working on the boss's attacks. And they ended up turning out great. We have a copper fireball that he launches every now and then, as well as copper asteroids that fall from the sky. There's one more super attack that I have ready to go, but you're going to have to wait till the end of the video to see it. Fortunately, you don't have to wait very long at all, because we're just about to run this boss. But first, we've got a date with the Bumblehive. Well, here goes nothing. The trial of the bow and a lone dead traveler.
Yes, kill for the dead like a street rat.
Oh, I didn't have a choice. All right, I don't see my future self around, so hopefully I can just push this. Yes, okay.
You found yourself in a dangerous place. Will you survive?
I'm definitely gonna survive. I don't know what you're talking about. But Bumblebee's gonna be here any second, and here we go! The first thing I wanna do is to get up into the geyser and grab a couple of rockets here. And remember, every time I go through one of those gates, I get another bee following me. So I'm gonna try to send Bumblebee's fireball back at him, but honestly, that's gonna be really tricky to do mid-air. I also have quite the swarm of bees behind me. Oh, there's a lot. Oh, this was a bad idea. I guess that's one way to deal with a swarm of bees, is to just let them all sting you until they die. So I would like another 5 honey-tipped arrows. And here is our second round of honey-tipped arrows. I got bees behind me. Quick shot. Look at that. Here we go. Come on. Yes. The hive is angry. There's now 1 bumblebee over there, but guess what? There are 2 more out of render distance. They are releasing pollen bombs. If we're not flying, we basically won't be able to get away from them. So we really want to stay up in the air, and I'm hoping that we can start to chip away at some of these bumblebees. Here we go, come on. Yes, that's 1. All right, time to go for another one. Let's see if I can do it. Oh, a pollen bomb took the hit. Are you kidding me? Oh, we're almost dead. Half a heart. So I'm gonna start chipping away at them like normal. Yes, there's 1. This should be enough honey-tipped arrows to finish off the fight. Yes, I got him!
Oh, you're stronger than you look. You might just be exactly what I'm looking for.
What does that mean? The trial of the bow And we have a really cute bee statue. And when you use it with a note block, it makes a bee sound. And I love it. And it's adorable. But enough gawking at our loot. We've got another boss fight to play. And we are back at the Copper Crater. But as you can tell, things are a little different. Zep came by and made this gorgeous bridge build. And I made a derpy diagonal. This is temporary, but this, oh my gosh. And to think this whole build is on a diagonal. Zep, I have no idea how you do it. Of course, I had to re-add the falling copper so that we could match the theme of Copper Point. And I also added these swirling particles to help with the atmosphere and foreboding nature of this area. I also love that you can see Ebonglade off in the distance over there. This world is really starting to feel connected. But enough gawking, let's get to the boss fight. I just love the approach of this bridge at nighttime, the swirling particles up above and the lighting. And now we see the name, the Bridge of the Lost City. That's right, you guys. The copper meteor fell atop a massive city, and all that's left standing is this bridge. And as we approach the crater, we see this is the Trial of the Shield. Not gonna lie, but I'm pretty nervous about this one. So we're just gonna jump down here and grab our gear.
Taking the side of a poor soul who failed.
And now I just have to make my way down these platforms. Oh, that's a big jump. The platforms are starting to get spaced out a little more, and so the jumps get really sketchy. Here we go. Big jump. Jump boost, and we made it. Guys, I hope you're ready to meet Cooper. Here goes nothing. I'm stuck.
Oh,
hello?
What do we have here? A new friend?
No, I'm just me.
Why, I haven't had a new friend since
Oh.
Elias. He didn't last long. His skin melted off.
Oh.
You know what?
What?
Let's play a game. It's
Okay.
super fun.
Yes, a game.
Look up. I call this game End of the World.
I don't want to play that game.
When the asteroid hits the ground, the world ends. If you can get to the top of those 4 towers before that happens, I'll change my mind. You're gonna have so much fun.
That does not sound like fun. Well, we better move as fast as possible. These platforms are not going to stick around forever. Up the jump boost. These red platforms are going to spawn more and more blazes. We don't have a ton of time. So I'm hoping that we can just get to the top of this tower. We get an ender pearl, and we're on to the next one. And there's another blaze. He's going to try to melt our face off, so I just have to run. Jump boost. Oh, that's super satisfying. And another one. Yes, and we're midway on the tower. Try not to get shot by a blaze, please. And that's 2 towers down, baby. Whew, this one looks like the hardest one. So I probably should have done this one first, but oh well. And now's the right time to go. I hope the floating platform comes up. There it is. Go, go, go. And it goes down. I do not like this. I'm a sitting duck right now. That blaze is shooting at me. This blaze is shooting at me. There's fire everywhere. This is horrible. Okay, get up to the next section. Okay, don't shoot me. The platform's up. We just gotta go. Go, 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 go. There's more blazes everywhere. We're almost there. Okay, that's tower number 3. And the meteor is getting really close. Do you see how close it is? And I'm on fire. Put myself out. Here we go. Come on, come on, come on. Don't fall down on me, please. Yes, please. There's another blaze. Holy cow, how many are there? Just throw it. I can't see anything.
I'm back.
Cooper's here, and I guess we're gonna have to take him on.
I've never felt so alive.
Has teleported somewhere, and the asteroid is getting super close. Okay, just gotta be careful.
Come, join the copper with
Oh, there's an
Elias.
asteroid coming down. Holy, there he is. I see you. Take our hit. Yes, I got him. I hope he doesn't launch a fireball at me. He did. Okay, I see it. I see it. I see it. Please don't hit me. Yes. Oh my gosh, the asteroid is so close now. Fire.
Hooray, hooray, the end is here.
It's right here. Die.
Ah,
Yes.
you killed me.
Hello? Cooper? Did I?
Just kidding. Let's play again soon.
Oh, what? Well, you guys, what do you think of the Copper Demon? I am so happy with how... Whoa, hold on a second. Oh, here's the future me that was supposed to come. I did everything you told me to. And you did well, Avid. Wait, you're just me. That's right. I'm you from very far in the future. But you're not horrible. I fully expected you to be worse than the last one. Yeah, I know. Look, when I hit 100 million subscribers, I had this realization. Oh? The videos, Avid, I was all wrong about what makes them good. You see, It's not about hacking viewer retention or following the same cookie cutter style as everyone else or cramming as many bosses into one video as possible. Of all the content created before us and all of the content yet to come, there's only one Avid Adventures. So stop trying to be like everyone else and just be you. And that goes out to each and every one of you watching right now. Whatever you're trying to do in life or whatever you're trying to achieve, you are uniquely you. It doesn't matter what anybody else is doing, because what you're doing, only you can do. I want to thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end of this episode. I want to thank Brazoza, my patron, who helped me come up with the idea for these bosses. I was gonna do 4 bosses in this episode, and they convinced me not to. I had a kid halfway through this episode, and it still took me 160 hours to get this done. This is obviously not going to be something I do very often, and so I want you to hear this message. I'm gonna try to make episodes smaller. I wanna thank you for being you, and I'll see you all in the next episode. Bye-bye.